getting closer, just 5 days till Christmas. This is Tracy here, and I will be doing a video today featuring the crafty Meraki Gilded Holiday Greetings. And we'll make a Christmas card, and I'll foil quite a few things here so that I have a good stash of sentiments to start out the year. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I've got my foiling plate out and it's nice and hot. And I foiled one and it failed, so I didn't let it get hot enough. So I'm doing a second. And I'm doing it on some white glossy paper. And this is the Gilded Holiday Greetings. And I'll go ahead and lay all my plates down and I'll set my timer. I'm just making sure they're nice and straight. And then we'll let it run through the timer. Now you can see here where it way under foiled because it just wasn't quite hot enough. So my recommendation is to let that plate get nice and hot before you start foiling, because I didn't have any problems after that first one. But I got anxious and in a hurry, so I cut that whole part out, and so sorry about that. But this is going to be fun because I have lots and lots of glossy paper, colored glossy papers and colored foils. So the plan here is to make enough sentiments to kind of get me through the season here. Now the longest part is waiting for this thing to be ready. And I didn't speed anything up or anything on this video since it is a premiere. So I'll be here live in the chat if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer them live, or leave a comment if you have any questions there. Now there is a coordinating die for this, and we will be using that as well. Okay, so my light is steady. I'm going to hold this plate down and very carefully pull out. Typically I'll put the plates on after, right here where I've got them on my platinum, but because my first one failed, I'm going to just carry the plates over with me. And notice this is real time. I'm coming through very, very slowly. I just want to make sure that this thing gets foiled. If it overfoils on me, that's not a big deal. That's easy to clean up. But if it underfoils, it's basically garbage because you really can't do it over. You probably could, but I'm not going to. Nope, just no time for that. So once I get that gone slowly through there, I'll go ahead and pull it back out, and I'll park my little plate back into the platform, and I'll pull this up, and I've done a sparkly gold on a white paper. And this is some paper from my stash, and it kind of likes to stick to the plate. So there's that. You want to be careful of that. And I see that I've got my foil just on the very, very edge here, but it doesn't matter because these are all going to be cut out. And this foiled beautifully. There's some overfoiling that will come off super easy. You can use a brush or you can use tape. And I'll kind of get this out of the way so I can show you. Now I've got this purple tape that I bought, and I couldn't tell you where I got it, but I think it's great for pulling off that overfoiling. And you can see all I'm doing is just rubbing the tape along and then pulling it up, and it's pulling up all the overfoiling without pulling up my initial foil. You can use mint tape. This is a low-tack tape. You want to use a low-tack tape to do something like this. You can also use a stiff brush, but I like the tape trick with this. It just gets it all up pretty quickly, and you'll see there's a lot of foil on my actual piece of tape. And that'll be the end of this piece of tape because it's not going to pick up anymore because it's so full of foil already. But I'll just dab at these little edges a little bit just to get any more off that might need to come off. And I'm going to foil several of these in several colors, and I'm not going to make you watch me do all that because that's going to take a long time. But here's how this looks. So there I've got one set of sentiments, and I'll go ahead and foil the rest off camera. Alright, so I've foiled a bunch of them. I've got a gold with a black shiny mirror cardstock, and then I've got a silver with a black shiny mirror cardstock. I've got a pink on pink, and I've got a purple on purple, And I've got a blue on blue. This one needs a little bit of cleanup, so I'll just go ahead and they didn't all need cleanup, but a lot of it's going to depend on the foil that you use. And I tend to not get my foiling machine out until the winter because it just gets too hot in the craft room. So now I'm going long ways because I'm in a hurry. Just wanting to get done. But see how nicely that pulls up that overfoiling, and all that extra overfoiling on the bottom and top edges don't matter because all these sentiments are going to be cut out. They're good sized sentiments too, and they cut beautifully. Then I've got a gold on green, and there's my gold and white. And we're back to the beginning. So we'll go ahead and cut one of these out on camera, and I'll cut it with my Spellbinders machine, but I have to say it's really, really tight and it gets hard to crank at the end, so I will end up cutting the rest of these over on my my Vagabond because, yeah, I don't have to do any work really other than just make sure everything's all nice and even. And I've grabbed a couple of pieces of tape here, just some low-tack tape, and just taped it down so it wouldn't move around on me because my plates are a little slightly warped. And then I'll go ahead and run this through the platinum. And you don't have to do this slowly, but I'm doing it slowly because it's a little bit difficult to crank. Especially at the end, it gets stuck. And I've had them break on me before, so I don't want it to break because I primarily use this for foiling only. So we'll just close that up here. And then I'll pull this off. And then we can just poke the sentiments out. And I'm going to put them in one of these little tidy tray type things. So that I have a nice neat place to keep them all. I'm going to carefully pull off my tape so that I can get it off of my die. Sometimes they get stuck to the die, your tape does, and it's a little bit hard to get out. And then I'll just pop these out. Now some of them don't pop out as well. I don't have that issue with my Vagabond, but I do with this particular machine. So there's that, but I'm still getting them out. See, this one's going to tear a little bit. No, not that one. Maybe another one that I do. We'll just poke each one of these out until they're all out. And each word is separate, so you can arrange them however you want to on your card, which I think is really cool. Because sometimes you don't want a big, long, you want a smaller central base for your card, or you don't want a long orientation, or sometimes you do, and so you can pick. And these are just fabulous foil. I love them on the black mirror cardstock. So we'll get the holidays out, we'll get the happy out. And you can arrange these words in any way you want, and they don't even necessarily have to be for Christmas. You've got the word love and peace, and that can be for any time. Love can be for Valentine's. Happy New Year. So let's go ahead and get the rest cut out, and then I'll be right back. So here we go. I have a huge pile of sentiments ready to go. This should cover most of my needs for sentiments this year. So yay! And that's using the die and the foil plate. So I'm going to use the purple on purple, which is more of a pink on pink, but so kind of, here's the other part. You got to dig through them. You could separate them out into little baggies if you wanted to, but I'm going to do Merry and Bright Christmas. Let's find the little correct ampersand. There it is. That was easy. Now finding Christmas. Where are you, Christmas? You're here somewhere. I know you are, because everybody came out well. I'm just being careful because I don't want to bend them up at all. Although the paper that I used is a pretty heavy cardstock. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and make our card now. And we're going to make our card panel. I'll zoom in here for you a bit. And my color is really strange here for whatever reason. I don't know. It thinks it's going to snow outside. It never snows in Alabama, so wish me luck. Am I the only person that wants snow? So we've got Merry and Bright Christmas. Beautiful, beautiful font. I love this font. It's fabulous. And let's go ahead and grab a piece of paper here. Here I'm trying to adjust my camera so that you can see the color properly. And we went a little bit blue there, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You just have to bear with me while I try and make sure that I show the product in the best light. So in order for you to be able to really see that color, I'm going to put it in my hand. So there you go. There's how it looks. Now I'll move these aside out of my way because I'm going to do just a quick masking technique. So this is, you know, back to basics card making other than the foiled sentiments. We're just going to do our own art here. So I'm going to grab a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock because this is what I like to ink blend on. And mine are big. They are 6 by 4.5. So I will want to be trimming this down. I start by trying to mask off this size, but then I remember that that's not going to work because I'm going to be trimming down. So, but all I'm going to do is take tape and mask off. And what I'm trying to do is just find the center-ish, kind of eyeballing it. And here I'm looking at it going, wait a minute, that's not going to work because I haven't trimmed it down yet, because I want it right there. So let's go ahead and trim it down. And I'm going to trim that down to 3 3/4 by 5 because I'm going to want to mat that layer as well. There we go. That's more like it. And friends, I haven't cut any parts of this video out other than pausing it while I cut out the sentiments. So everything is here for you. So now I can find the center and I can lay my tape just across to the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, identical but opposite, so that they kind of hit the same spots. And I'm okay that it's going all the way to the top. And then I'm going to take a last piece of tape and I'm going to mask off the bottom right here. So I've got this all masked off, and what we're going to do is we're going to make an ombre tree. So I'm going to grab some Simon Hurley colors here. And let's see here, what do I want to grab? Let's grab, I'm over here grabbing colors and you can't see me, and I'm thinking I'm going to do Game Over, but I changed my mind. And I decide that I'm going to do Triple Berry. And then I'll go ahead and do Prom Queen, and then I'll go ahead and do Piggyback, I think. And that'll make a nice ombre. So I'll take my darkest color, which is more of a purpley. It's kind of a purpley pink. So I'm just going to make sure that I don't have any residue on my brush from other colors. And I'm just going to swirl my brush around and just get that bottom covered. About a third, just a little bit more than a third. Heavier towards the bottom, lighting up, going up further. Then I'm going to grab my pink brush. And I'll do the same. I'll kind of clean off my brush first a little bit. And just on a rag. And then I'm going to come in with the Prom Queen, which is a lighter pink, but it blends very nice with the Triple Berry. And I'll just blend the two together. And then finally I'll clean off my brush and I'll finish off with the Piggyback. And that'll make a lovely little ombre for our tree. And yes, I am doing non-traditional Christmas colors. Some people who watch me know that I'm on a pink kick this year. And I don't know if I'll get over it or not. I'm going to carefully pull off my tape. And there you see I've got a lovely ombre triangle. And I want to make a trunk for that, but I also want to make a place for the trunk to sit. So I'm going to take what's left on my pink brush and just kind of blend it around along the bottom. Not perfectly, just kind of blending back and forth. Very, very light in color. Just so it almost looks like a snowy background that's reflected, that the pink from the tree is reflecting down on, because that's why it's pink. Listen, you have to use your imagination in these things. Now I'm going to create my trunk. And so I'm just going to take my mint tape here again, and I'm going to tape it down and leave basically an opening for where I'll color in my trunk. And I'm trying to get my tape equally distanced there from the corner of my triangle. And then I'll mask off the top and bottom of that. And I'll just use the tape I used before. Now sometimes if your ink's wet, it won't want to stick, but we're fine. We're fine. Now I'm going to go back in with the triple berry, and I'm going to go in heavy with it. And there, we have our tree. Pull the tape off and you'll see, voila. Super easy, no stencils needed. Just something you can do if you don't have anything or you want a tree that looks like this. Super, super easy. All right, so next thing I want to do is I want to do some splattering on here, but I also want to do some blue in the background. So it's not just sitting in a white area. I'm going to grab my clear skies and I'm just going to blend starting from the outside and blending inward. So darker towards the outside and blending inward, and I don't mind if it mixes in with the pinks there. Won't hurt a thing. Just to kind of get some more color in there, but mostly towards the outside edge. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now it's splatter time. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel here. No, I take that back. I want to go ahead and mat this up before I add my splatters because I want the splatters on my matte layer too. So I'm going to trim this light blue cardstock down to 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to become my matte layer. Because I like to matte things up. You could matte it any way you wanted. You could do traditional colors. You could skip the matting. You do you. But again, I'm on a pink kick, but I do need a complementary color for my pink just to make it pop more. You could do monochromatic all one color if you wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue to glue this down, because that's what I do. And the Bristol Smooth is pretty heavy cardstock. It's about 100 pounds, I think. So we won't get any kind of glue remnants poking through. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I want to do my splatters. So I'm going to grab my Dr. P.H. Martin's white, bleed-proof white, which is very, very watered down. I'm going to move those out of my way a little bit because I don't want to splatter on them. And now I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel because my splat box is so dirty it's embarrassing. I need a new one, I think. So I'm not embarrassing myself with a filthy, dirty splat. I mean, it's a real pretty dirty because it's covered in ink, but you know, ink and paint and mica. Then I'll take my little fan brush and get it wet, and then I'm just going to tap it onto my little card with my little card panel that's a little doubled up there. Like I said, I want the splatters on the matte layer as well. And I'm just going to do several splatters of white here. And then I'm going to start working on some color. Alright, so I'm going to clean my brush off and I'll be right back. Okay, and now I have these iridescent paints that I got from, I think, what is that shop? Tuesday Morning, like super cheap, but they're great for this. And I've got this pink color. I've got it very, very wet. They're watercolors, and I'm just saturating my brush in it. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap this dark pink color on here. So this is where you go from plain, clean and simple to whoa, because these are all kind of iridescent, pearly, and so they will shine when they are dry. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm going to grab this lighter pink, which is kind of more of a pearly. I'm going to do the same, just get it nice and wet. You know, if this is the only thing you use these for, you don't need to buy expensive ones. I do have some very expensive iridescent watercolor paint, but I don't think I would use it for splattering because it's expensive. But these are just fine for it. And then lastly, I want to grab that light blue. I want to throw a little bit more blue in here. So I'm just going to get it nice and wet with my water sprayer. Same thing, get my brush nice and saturated. Nice and wet with all that pearly, shiny goodness. And just tap on my brush to tap down some of this blue. And that's it. All we do now is we do let that dry all the way. So I'm going to let it dry and then I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. We've got it dry. I've got myself a pink card base, which is a very hot pink, like a fuchsia almost. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this part down to the card base now before I put my words down, because I will be popping those up on some foam tape. So I like to get the flat parts done first. And again, just liquid glue. And you could do this on a white card base as well. I do like using colored card bases. I like color. That's why my name's Not Afraid of Color. I'm just a colorful person and I like a lot of colors. And so, again, right now on this pink kick. So let me just pull this up so you can kind of see that iridescent shine of those paint splatters. And sorry if you hear my cat yowling. He wants in and I'm not letting him in because I'm busy right now. And all he does when I let him in here when I'm doing a voiceover is push on my hand and try and knock my device out of my hand. So I'm just using this thin little foam tape, and it doesn't have sticky on one side, so I will be using liquid glue to glue all these down. And just trimming it with my non-stick scissors here. We'll go ahead and add some glue here. I'm going to put this right towards the top. And because it's on foam, it takes a little while to dry and actually grab, and that's a good thing when you're trying to arrange sentiments. I'm looking for my ampersand. There it is. It's tiny. So we'll go ahead and get a little bit more sticky on that. I'm just trying to find the sticky side. There it is. Okay. We'll glue the ampersand down, and now I'm trying to decide which way did this thing go. I think it looks like an E. I think. Yeah, it does. It does. So you can put that anywhere, but I'm keeping everything in the center of my tree. I'm just kind of moving it around till it looks straight to me. Okay, and so we'll just grab some more foam tape here, and we'll do our bright, and then we'll do our Christmas. And then all I'm going to do is add some of those little star embellishments, and this card will be finished. Look how shiny that foil is. That is aura foil, so it's Spellbinders. I call it no fail foil. Just aura seems to work no matter what. Although on that first one that I foiled, it didn't work. It didn't foil, but that's my fault. I just got in a hurry and went too quickly when my plate probably wasn't hot enough. Even though the platform says it's ready, sometimes with a large plate like that, you do want to make sure that it's extra hot, that the plate has heated up. And let me just zoom in here for you so you can see this a little bit better. I can see that my color finally corrected itself. I don't know what kind of nuts thing happened there, but sometimes foil will do that to filming. And we'll put my Christmas and just make sure it's nice and even. Make sure my bright's nice and even. Everything looks even. Here we are so far. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 3 of these little stars. I'll add one to the top of the tree. In hindsight, I could have put my tree down a little bit lower, but I'm okay with it the way it is, too. Put the tree at the top, the star at the top, and then I'll just put a couple more. Just And I'll put one right here, I think. And I think I'll put one over here. And we'll call it a day for embellishments because we already have so much sparkle and shine on this card. There we go. Stick down. There you go. Sorry about that. The dog's freaking out. It's a longer video, so it takes longer. The dog doesn't have that much patience. Here it is, all finished. Isn't that gorgeous? Ooh, look at all that shine. Somebody's gonna love that, especially somebody who's a pink lover. So I hope you guys like this video, and make sure that you're subscribed to Crafty Meraki, and please leave a comment down below on your thoughts on this card, and give us a thumbs up. Take care. Bye-bye. And here's a couple of sort of still moving photos of the card. Take care.